So in this video, I'm going to show you a kind of a figure or reporting standard for your literature search, which is called PRISMA statement. Okay, so it's called preferred reporting items for the systematic reviews and meta analysis. So this is what PRISMA stands for, and is called a PRISMA statement. You can actually read in detail about how it was built. Okay, so here are some scholars they made in Ottawa, and there were lots of revision and discussion, and following that, the Prisma diagram was actually developed. You can read more about it in this paper. Okay, so if you just Google with this name, you will find it. And so I'm just going to discuss about the main figure that is about the Prisma. So this is the main figure. Here they show that, okay, you first report how you identified it, then the screening process, eligibility process, and inclusion process. But in the bibliometric literature review, actually, this part is not relevant. So let's go through it. In the identification, normally you will go through the database screening. And then sometimes you may find some other articles through backward search, forward search. Okay, so you look into the references of some of the published studies and then find some more articles. Okay, and you do like different database search, and so different ways with this backward and forward search. So some of the study, which study cited them. Okay, so you can actually try to find it out from Google Scholar. So based on this is the forward search approach. So if you find the studies that were cited by study, if you pick something from there, that is the backward. If you find which other studies has cited a particular study, this is the forward search. So in this process, you can find some more articles, and then you can also actually include them in your bibliometric, in your systematic analysis. Actually, you can do it in your bibliometric analysis as well, but which I do not recommend you to do, because then what you have to do, you have to manually code them in your text file or the RIS format file or the big text format file. So you can actually manually code additional articles into your bibliometric data file analysis file, okay, extracted bibliometric file, but which I do not recommend, because then you will need months to really do this process. Okay, so that is why I do not really recommend going for this manual coding process. In one of the studies that we have, I think, recommended you to read, or I will mention it later also, you will see that it's really takes this manual coding process. Will just take 6 months to do this coding of 50-60 articles, something like that, and we don't want to spend this time or adding only few articles. So anyway, so here we can skip this part, but you will see the most of the figures we report follows actually this standard. You have to report how you did the database search, the keywords, detailed keywords, and then how many articles you identified from there. And then so when you bring from multiple databases, then you also have to report the duplicates, how you remove the duplicates. So normally, actually using the bibliometrics, not the BiblioShiny portal, but in the bibliometrics coding portal, in R, we can actually combine Scopus and Web of Science databases. But then you have to remove the duplicates in that case, so which is again a slightly complicated process. But with this combination, again, you cannot really do a citation analysis or those kind of analysis. You can maximum do a keyword co-occurrence analysis when you combine multiple databases. Because if you just think about it, the Web of Science, they only record the citations within their database. The Scopus, they only record the citations within their database. So these citations are not comparable. So it will be like comparing apples and oranges. It's not which one you really go for. So it's really tricky. It's not really possible. If you want to really do a good job there, you again have to like decode all these databases and do a manual, build up your manual database. Again, it will take a year just to build up the database. So normally, if you're already a professor, if you have 10 students, and if you have a large fund to finance this kind of work, maybe then it is okay to do it. Otherwise, I highly discourage combining multiple databases and going for this kind of analysis. But combining this Scopus and websites, rather easily, you can also do analysis of keyword, but not more than that. So you can make the keyword analysis and do some clustering from the keywords. So most of the time, this part here, the additional records part and duplicates removed, these will not be part of your reporting process in bibliometric analysis when you only go with one database. Okay. But then the screening one, the screening of records, looking into the titles and abstract and the number of records you exclude. So this is something you have to do. Okay. Then also the eligibility here, how many of the full text articles were assessed. So first maybe you do like abstract and title, but then you would like to maybe do a detail. So when you have your like 100 or 200 articles, something like that you have selected, you like to maybe go through all these full PDFs, just to make sure that they're really eligible for your particular bibliometric literature review. And then some of them maybe be excluded, and then you have to note down the reasons why they were excluded. So one of the things we do is that after this part, normally what do? We make up the most cited ones or using the bibliometric tools, or we do the clustering based on bibliographic coupling or co-citations. Then for detailed qualitative analysis using the Excel literature review metrics or any other software you want, for that we use normally these most cited 50 articles or 40 articles, or this most cited articles 50 or 60, something like that, that make up the different clusters. So we normally go for a deeper analysis of those articles using this qualitative synthesis. Sometimes some studies maybe would like to do a meta-analysis as well, which I don't recommend in bibliometric, because for meta-analysis you have to be very clear from the beginning that you actually want to look into these two variables. Okay, this one hypothesis, we have to be very clear, which we are often not when we are trying to explore a field or a topic, or the nexus between different topics. So the focus is not meta-analysis. So normally we'll not really have this part in your figure as well. So this is a like very highly cited document, more than 60,000 times actually. So many people use this for recording, so for reporting of the figure, how they actually cleaned their data in a systematic review. But in bibliometric, you don't have to follow exactly this one, but it is just nice to know about this, because the approach we also do in bibliometrics actually more or less the same as this one. We do more or less the same approaches, and most likely in the paper that Ilan and I are working, we are going to provide you one of the process for reporting. We will also propose something like that for bibliometric literature reviews particularly. Okay, so the videos that we give you and the papers that we have shown you, the process you see there, you can follow those processes and it should be totally fine. So this is just something I wanted to inform you guys, because maybe in later stages, maybe you would like to also do a systematic review, and then maybe you would like to follow this PRISMA guideline, because this is really famous. It is just good to know about it. Okay. So we can quickly have a look on some of the presentation of the PRISMA diagram in some of the published studies. For example, this study here, you see this is study called time-driven activity costing in healthcare. So it's published in health policy. So there, this is how they are reporting it. The number of articles they extracted, and then these are additional one. And see, so it's just the same process, the same figure. So it is kind of standardizing the process of reporting. So here we have one more here. Here, these guys, they actually reported it as additional material. So I downloaded it from the below in the article details. So here you see the same format. You're just putting the number of articles in the format. So, okay. So this is how they are actually extracting and proceeding with the article synthesis. So here you see, here they're actually using only one data source. Okay, so they didn't find any additional articles. So that was okay as well. So here we have one more here. So they are also providing this PRISMA diagram, right? So here they provide a little bit more detail how this process worked. Okay, so they provided a little bit more detail. So you see, you can actually use it as a starting point, and then you can add a little bit more and modify it, which is what normally we do in the bibliometrics one. Actually, We have the similar process, but we don't really call it PRISMA because it's not really the PRISMA, but it's the one we do. We clearly define how we did it. We clearly report how we did it, how we extracted the data, what we removed, how we searched. So the important thing is you provide all the details, okay, and how you did it, so that people, if they follow the same procedure, they should end up with same number of or similar number of articles, okay, because over time it will change a little bit here and there, but people should have a similar number of articles. Great.